How the Moon First Came into the Sky by Okun Asere of Mfamosing of the Ekoi people, Nigeria and Cameroon. How the Moon First Came into the Sky by Okun Asere of Mfamosing of the Ekoi people, Nigeria and Cameroon. You're listening to World Reading Club, presented by Hakeem Alibokus Alexander on Spreaker, Social Podcasting, and Wisdom, Social Audio Inc., presented for World Reading Club in association with Uniquilibrium. This edition's reading focus comes to us from West African Folktales, General Editor Jake Jackson. Myths, legends, folktales, and stories from around the world. How the Moon First Came into the Sky by Okun Asere of Mfamosing of the Ekoi people, Nigeria and Cameroon. In a certain town there lived Njom Mbwe, Juju sheep. He made great friends with Etuk, antelope, whose home was in the bush. When the two animals grew up, they went out and cut farms. Njom planted plantains in his, while Etuk set his with cocoa yams. When the time came around for the fruits to ripen, Njom went to his farm and cut a branch of plantains, while Etuk dug up some of his cocoa. Each cleaned his food and put it in the pot to cook. When all was ready, they sat down and ate. Next morning, Etuk said, "Let us change. I saw a bunch of plantains in your farm, which I would like to get. Will you go instead to mine and take some cocoa?" This was arranged, and Etuk said to Njom, "Try to beat up Fufu." Njom tried, and found it very good. He gave some to Etuk. The latter ate all he wanted, then took the bunch of plantains and hung it up in his house. Next morning, he found that the fruit had grown soft, so he did not care to eat it. He therefore took the plantains and threw them away in the bush. During the day, Mbui came along and smelt plantains. He looked round till he found them, then picked up one and began to eat. They were very sweet. He ate to his fill, then went on, and later met a crowd of the Nshum people, apes. To them he said, "Today I found a very sweet thing in the bush." In course of time, Etuk grew hungry again, and Njom said to him, "If you are hungry, why don't you tell me?" He went to his farm and got 4 bunches of plantains. As he came back, he met the monkey people. They begged for some of his fruit, so he gave it to them. After they had eaten all there was, They, in their turn, went on, and met a herd of wild boars, ngumi. To these they said, "There is very fine food to be got from Njom and Etuk." The ngumi therefore came and questioned Etuk, "Where is cocoa to be had?" And Etuk answered, "The cocoa belongs to me." The boars begged for some. So Etuk took a basket, filled it at his farm, and gave it to them. After they were satisfied, they went on their way, and next morning met Njok, elephant. To him they said, "Greetings, Lord. Last night we got very good food from the farms over there." Unjok at once ran and asked the two friends, "Whence do you get so much food?" They said, "Wait a little." Unjam took his long machete and went to his farm. He cut 5 great bunches of plantains and carried them back. Etuk also got 5 baskets full of cocoa, which he brought to Elephant. After the latter had eaten all of this, he thanked them and went away. All the bush beasts came in their turn and begged for food, and to each the two friends gave willingly of all they had. Lastly, also came Mfong, bush cow. Not far from the 2 farms there was a great river called Akaram, the one which goes round. In the midst of it, deep down, dwelt Crocodile. One day Mfong went down into the river to drink, and from him Crocodile learned that much food was to be had nearby. On this, Crocodile came out of the water and began walking towards the farms. He went to Unjam and Etuk and said, "I am dying of hunger. Pray give me food." Etuk said, "To the beasts who are my friends I will give all I have, but to you I will give nothing, for you are no friend of mine." But Njom said, "I do not like you very much, yet I will give you 1 bunch of plantains." Crocodile took them and said, "Do not close your door tonight when you lie down to sleep. I will come back and buy more food from you at a great price." He then went back to the water and sought out a python, which dwelt there. To the latter he said, "I have found 2 men on land who have much food." Python said, "I too am hungry. Will you give me to eat?" So Crocodile gave him some of the plantains which he had brought. When Python had tasted, he said, "How sweet it is! Will you go back again and bring more?" Crocodile said, "Will you give me something with which to buy?" And Python answered, "Yes, I will give you something with which you can buy the whole farm." On this he took from within his head a shining stone and gave it to Crocodile. The latter started to go back to the farm. As he went, night fell, and all the road grew dark. But he held in his jaws the shining stone, and it made a light on his path, so that all the way was bright. When he neared the dwelling of the 2 friends, he hid the stone and called, "Come out, and I will show you something which I have brought." It was very dark when they came to speak with him. Slowly the crocodile opened his claws, in which he held up the stone, and it began to glimmer between them. When he held it right out, the whole place became so bright that one could see to pick up a needle or any small thing. He said, "The price of this that I bring is 1 whole farm." Etuk said, "I cannot buy. If I give my farm, nothing remains to me. What is the use of this great shining stone if I starve to death?" But Njom said, "I will buy. Oh, I will buy, for my farm full of plantains, for that which you bring fills the whole earth with light. Come, let us go. I will show you my farm. From here to the waterside all round is my farm. Take it all, and do what you choose with it. Only give me the great shining stone that, when darkness falls, the whole earth may still be light." Crocodile said, "I agree." Then Unjam went to his house with the stone, and Etuk went to his. Unjam placed it above the lintel, that it might shine for all the world, but Etuk closed his door and lay down to sleep. In the morning, Unjam was very hungry, but he had nothing to eat, because he had sold all his farm for the great white stone. Next night and the night after, he slept full of hunger, but on the third morning he went to Etuk and asked, "Will you give me a single cocoyam?" Etuk answered, "I can give you nothing, for now you have nothing to give in exchange. It was not I who told you to buy the shining thing. To give something when plenty remains is good, but none but a fool would give his all, that a light may shine in the dark." Unjam was very sad. He said, "I have done nothing bad. Formerly no one could see in the night time. Now the python stone shines so that everyone can see to go wherever he chooses." All that day Unjam still endured, though nearly dying of hunger, and at night time he crept down to the water, very weak and faint. By the riverside he saw a palm tree, and on it a man trying to cut down clusters of ripe kernels. But this was hard to do, because it had grown very dark. Unjam said, "Who is there?" And the man answered, "I am Efion Obasi." The second time Unjam called, "What are you doing?" And Efban replied, "I am trying to gather palm kernels, but I cannot do so, for it is very dark amid these great leaves." Unjam said to him, "It is useless to try to do such a thing in the dark. Are you blind?" Efion answered, "I am not blind. Why do you ask?" Then Unjam said, "Good. If you are not blind, I beg you to throw me down only 1 or 2 palm kernels, and in return I will show you a thing more bright and glorious than any you have seen before." Efion replied, "Wait a minute, and I will try to throw a few down to you. Afterwards you shall show me the shining thing as you said." He then threw down 3 palm kernels, which Unjam took, and stayed his hunger a little. The latter then called, "Please try to climb down. We will go together to my house." Efion tried hard, and after some time he stood safely at the foot of the tree by the side of Unjam. So soon as they got to this house, Unjam said, "Will you wait here a little while I go to question the townspeople?" First, he went to Etuk and asked, "Will you not give me a single cocoa to eat? See, the thing which I brought at a price of all that I had turns darkness to light for you, but for me, I die of hunger." Etuk said, "I will give you nothing. Take back the thing for which you sold your all, and we will stay in our darkness as before." Then Unjam begged of all the townsfolk that they would give him ever so little food in return for the light he had brought for them, yet they all refused. So Unjam went back to his house and took the shining stone and gave it to Efion Obasi, saying, "I love the earth folk, but they love me not. Now take the shining thing for which I gave my whole possessions. Go back to the place whence you came, for I know that you belong to the sky people. But when you reach your home in the heavens, hang up my stone in a place where all the earth folk may see it shining and be glad." Then Ephion took the stone and went back by the road he had come. He climbed up the palm tree, and the great leaves raised themselves upwards, pointing to the sky, and lifted him, till, from their points, he could climb into heaven. When he reached his home, he sent and called all the lords of the sky and said, I have brought back a thing today which can shine so that all the earth will be light. From now on, everyone on earth or in heaven will be able to see at the darkest hour of the night. The chiefs looked at the stone and wondered. Then they consulted together and made a box. Ephion said, Make it so that the stone can shine out only from one side. When the box was finished, he set the globe of fire within and said, Behold, the stone is mine. From this time all the people must bring me food. I will no longer go seek any for myself. For some time they brought him plenty, but after a while they grew tired. Then Ephion covered the side of the box, so that the stone could not shine till they brought him more. That is the reason why the moon is sometimes dark, and people on earth say, It is the end of the month. The sky people have grown weary of bringing food to Ephion Obasi, and he will not let his stone shine out till they bring a fresh supply. You've been listening to World Reading Club, presented by Hakeem Alibokis Alexander on Spreaker and Wisdom. Spreaker, social podcasting. Wisdom, social audio Inc. Presented for World Reading Club in association with Unequilibrium. You've been listening to, and you just heard, How the Moon First Came into the Sky by Okun Asere of Mfamosing of the Ekoi people, Nigeria and Cameroon. Coming up next is How All the Stars Came by Okun Asere of Mfamosing of the Ekoi people, Nigeria and Cameroon, here on Wisdom and Spreaker. Stay tuned.